Hey, how's it going? Thanks, Stephen, for joining me yet again. And this time I actually wanted to talk to you about your faith. I wanted to talk to you about when you started to be a Christian, the things that led you to this decision, and the people that influenced you along the way. So, I mean, obviously, first off, first question I'll ask is the biggest one, and that's when that choice happened. When did faith first enter your life?
Well, for most of my life, my aunt has told me that we were Christians, but I didn't know what that was. I didn't care very
Hmm.
much. I was very ignorant about it, and I just didn't care. I wasn't into it. I was like, it sounds lame. But junior year, I would say around late November, I met a few friends, and they were super Christian. I mean, they were super into it, and at first, I mean, I was like, I mean, it's kind of lame, but I'll listen to whatever that they said just because they were my friends, and I was, trying to be supportive. And I think one time, a Monday after school, they had asked me if I wanted to do Bible study, and I was this close to saying no, to just going home, but I just felt like I should go, and I did, and I would say after like three Bible studies, I was hooked and uh, and I got saved a few Bible studies in, and I mean my life has been changed ever since then. So
Wow.
like,
So, the next question that's kind of tying into this is just that, in your opinion, what's the most difficult thing that you think is in leading a Christian life? What do you think the hardest part of it is?
well, I'm I'm able to experience it from one side, but I can see it from two different. If you're born into a Christian life, it's I mean I guess I meant okay. Easier is the only word I can think of to use. But it's just a tad bit easier because you don't have those. For me, I had, former thoughts and enjoyments out of things that are new to me, or now newly found sins that I had no clue that they were before. I was just enjoying my life, going have fun, doing a bunch of crazy things, and all of a sudden they're bad and I can't do it. The temptations really gets to me. There are a lot of things that I want to do and I want to give into, but um, I know it's not what I should be doing. And especially at my age, temptation is really, really just pushes and tries its best to get into your life. I tried to read the word and pray every day to get those temptations out of my mind.
I do think that maintaining that consistency throughout your life, especially when it comes time for sin to tempt you and for things to pop up in your life, when it's real easy to just give in. I think the biggest problem, especially for most Christians nowadays, is we all falter, we all fail, and it's really, really easy to do the wrong thing a lot of the time. It's not easy to stand up for what you believe in and hold true to yourself and stand your ground and plant yourself like a tree and realize what you're doing is wrong or stop yourself before you begin to do those things. And I think a lot of the problem with today's youth is that it's very easy to just follow the crowd
Let
and
me elaborate on that.
go for it.
It's yeah, like I said, especially around our age. I'm 16. Um, it's hard. Being a high school kid, you want to fit in, you want to do fun things, you want to enjoy yourself, because after high school, you got to get a job, go to college, do all that fun stuff, right? But it leading a Christian life in high school is hands down one of the hardest things that I had to do. Had to, because I mean, it really tests you. It really, really pushes you. It's so easy to give into temptation, and I'd be lying if I said I hadn't given to temptation while leading a Christian life. And I try my best to not, but like nowadays, there's just it's really hard because a lot of kids are doing crazy things, and I mean, you want to fit in, you want to. It's
You don't
it's
want to
hard
be
to
that
stop your hand.
outcast.
Yeah, you don't want to look like a loser, or like an outcast, like a little quiet, goofy kid. it's hard to stop yourself when you're in the moment, um, and it's hard to stop temptation when it's like right in front of you. You know, it's like someone hands you something and they're like, just try it. You know, it's like it's right there, right? And it's really hard to say no and stand your ground and to be like, I can't. I'm a Christian. You know, it's against my religion. It's against what I believe, right? It's because you say that stuff, and a lot of kids these days are just gonna think you're a loser. Oh. So yeah, it's really hard.
I do think that standing your ground is pretty much the essence of being a Christian. If you really think about it and you look back into the Bible, because the Bible in itself is a history book.
Hmm.
So if you look back on all the records in which Christians were prosecuted, which is quite a bit in its history, you have to understand something is that there is a verse, and I'm paraphrasing here, so bear with me, but it essentially states Jesus talking to disciples and his followers, and it says, if you deny me in front of your friends, I will deny you in front of my Father. And
Yeah.
so it's always a reminder to me that whenever somebody asks, hey, are you a Christian, or do you live a Christian life, or how has your walk been? Even something as vague as that, talking about my walk with Christ or my walk as a Christian, it reminds me to always put that at the forefront of my life. And a lot of the time it's hard. And a lot of the time it makes it difficult to communicate with others who are just adamant about not listening to anything that religious fanatics like myself, of course, have to say, because it ultimately puts them, it makes them uncomfortable. It puts them off, at least for a lot of people. It was either the way they were raised or they don't want any part of it anymore, because it's easier to just do as society says. But you should never use the state as a metric for ethics. It should always be your morals and how you were raised and what you think is right, considering that what you think is right is a direct correlation to what the Bible is trying to teach you as a Christian, because we're all trying to be as close to Christ-like as we can be.
Yeah.
But hey, man, why Christianity over another faith, though? Like, why not Hinduism or Buddhism or Judaism, Catholicism?
So before that November of junior year, I'm a senior. So that was last year. Before that November, literally before that day, like November 1st, I was part of a youth group in the Catholic church across where I used to live. And I mean, I was really just into, not like spiritually or like even just into it, but I was like getting myself into Catholicism and the Catholic Church and all that. I was talking to the guy who ran the youth group about becoming a Catholic and all that, and but I knew in my heart that's not what I wanted. I just knew it wasn't what I felt I wanted to do, and it definitely wasn't. Um, right? They'd share verse upon verse upon verse, and they'd share whatever, and I just didn't care. It didn't affect me. I was whatever about it. But when I went to those Christian Bible studies and they shared verses, no one knew me besides my two friends. And they were sharing verses that just click so deeply with things that I've been through and things about my life. And it had a different vibe. I felt different. Um, I felt I connected more with these kids that I met 5 minutes ago than the kids I've known since freshman year. And it just it it was it was like a landslide, It was a clear choice. And I mean, since it's just crystal clear.
Hmm. What would you say to those who might be watching this who are struggling to find faith?
Um, don't stress it. I was struggling with my spirituality, religion since I was born. I mean, it's really something I didn't figure out until relatively recently. It's crazy. It's crazy how much can change, how much this can help you. And I mean, if you can't find it right away, it's fine. I know a lot of people who who it took so long for them to get saved, um to even just want to come to church. To if you're trying, that's all that matters. God sees that you're trying. God sees that you're reading your Bible. um God sees that you're praying. If you can't get it on the first try, then just keep trying. 'Cause I promise you, pinky promise, it's worth it. And that's it.
It's a journey. You got to take it step by step every day.
Yeah, I'd like to take it day by day. Um, and I mean, he hasn't failed me since I got saved, and I mean, I don't think he's going to anytime soon. But I like to take it day by day because, like you said, it's a journey and it's a long one.
Yeah, it's a lifelong one.
Yeah,
Well, Stephen, thank you for sharing all that about your spirituality and your experiences. And I appreciate you again. Thank you so much.
of course.